Hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Journal, a space to create the life you want to live. Like I always say, in this podcast episode, we explore stories of purpose, resilience, and impact. And today, I'm absolutely thrilled to host someone who's made a remarkable transformation in not only in his life, but people like us as well. So, someone who has pivoted from the corporate IT career to becoming a wellness and a fitness thought leader, I would say. So, all the way welcoming Mr. Vivek Thiruvengadam, who is also a founder of Qubit Fit and someone who has spent last 4 years helping over busy professional across the globe, beating their burnouts, build a sustainable health habits without even quitting their jobs or moving mountains. And obviously, he's not in the corporate, but he has helped people to transform their lives. So, on that note, what is more interesting is Mr. Vivek was the lead enterprise architect in tech industry for over 15 years. So before he decided to leave that world and help people like us, who basically treat our bodies like machine and never, and we always think our bodies never need maintenance, right? So this isn't just about diet plans or gym routines. Absolutely not. This conversation we are going to have with Mr. Vivek is about sustainable wellness, why mental clarity is actually a leadership superpower, and how to stay healthy in a world where our phones are always buzzing and our brains are always on. So, if you're someone seeking transformation, whether in body, mind, or life, this episode is for you to inspire. So, let's get into it. Thank you so much, Mr. Vivek, for joining me on this early morning on Empower Journal. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Please.
And thank you so much, Devaki, for inviting me to this wonderful podcast. You beautifully set up the context for this podcast. And yeah, it's raining here in Chennai. The mood is good. Looking forward to the conversation.
Sure. So, Vivek, let me start with something I hear all the time from friends, colleagues, even myself. Okay, I'll fix my health after this busy schedule. So people say this busy phase, but the busy phase never ends. When you hear someone say that, what goes through your mind as a person who have become today?
Right. See, the first thing that as a coach, that what goes through my mind is like empathy. Truly, I can understand it's genuinely people have time management problem is there because I've been in the corporate world. I know how that operates. So when they say that, go into their shoes, then you will clearly understand, okay, there is some problem for sure. I mean, as the society evolved, as the technology evolved, as the because it's not the same. Let's be honest, right? It's not be the same what we were 10 years before, right? So much of change and evolved in terms of personal life as well as in terms of corporate life. So that is a genuine problem. So that is the first step. We need to understand that, okay, like how can we solve the problem? And then we kind of see, okay, how best we can help them to come out of their current situation. So that is where the sustainable lifestyle changes, like you mentioned, plays a huge role. So the first point as a coach for me is to eliminate that thought process in their mind that I cannot do this because of my time problem. So it is about how you can build that habits, how you can build a sustainable health within the realm of what they are doing today. So if people are able to understand that, then it becomes much easier for them to build that right mindset.
Right. I think that's a trap so many of us fall into. Like, I'm always busy, the phone is ringing. People operate with 4 hours of sleep and they actually feel good about killing it at work at the cost of their own body.
Yes, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Because we do have, clients, like who are in the leadership roles, right? I see them, they are on the calls throughout the day, right? And then, they wake up pretty early in the morning, right? I have some US clients who wake up like 5 a.m. in the morning because, he has to attend a meeting in the East Coast, he's from the Pacific. What we emphasize is a long-term identity change, right? So we help them to prioritize, whom they want to become as a person, not just rather, following some busy schedules or like a diet plans or something like that. Help them to understand the long, kind of telling them, what you should do in the interim or short term, right? So a lot of people run behind shortcuts because they want some quick results for their health, which won't happen. So So as a coach, what I try to instill in them is, okay, build a long-term mindset. Okay,
Right.
okay, now you are an entrepreneur, or you're, like you're in a leadership role, or you're working in an IT organization or something like that. Okay, like how do you see yourself in 10 years? Like it's a common question people ask in the interviews. In terms of your health,
Okay.
so would you like to see your health contributing to your overall career, or would you like to see your health, kind of bringing down in your life, in your career and your personal life and family life, right? So when I kind of say that, wow, then people take a step back and it hits them hard. So that is how, kind of we bring that deep health understanding in them. And we need to understand, we need to make people understand the deep health.
Got it.
And then, it helps.
So, on that note, when we talk about this sustainable wellness, to put it, to articulate it, what does that actually mean? Because wellness culture can feel like another full-time job itself. Because even to start with the meal preparation, 5 a.m. workouts, or even any early morning workouts, weekend workouts, people just after throughout the weekday burnout, they just want to rest. And tracking the macros, I never understood all those macros and micros. And then what is a more realistic, sustainable approach for someone working 50-hour weeks? Because that's become this sad reality today.
See, sustainable. It's a very good question. Yeah, thank you for asking that. See, because like I said, there's in the world of a lot of fads going on with health and longevity space, right? Like so much of supplements is there. People are confused on which one to follow, right? So first thing people need to do is like, don't compare their lifestyle with others. That's the first step. So, they have to understand what works for them.
Okay.
Again, going back to my first point, think long term, right? So let's say we take with nutrition. So with nutrition, people have to think, okay, can I eat this food? What I ask my clients is like, hey, when you follow a certain protocol, or when you follow a certain kind of a plan or a program, would you be able to eat the same food 1 year down the line, right? So if the answer is no to that question, then I tell them don't eat that food. So it is kind of keep the foods that you enjoy on a daily basis, right? Let's say, being a South Indian, I love eating rice for my lunch, right? So that's how I've been brought up. So I still eat rice.
Okay.
Because I know the science behind it. I know what my lifestyle is, what works for me, right? And think long term. Okay, like, would I be eating brown rice, in 1 year from now? For my answer for that question would be no. So people have to think that way. I mean, think long term, and then break down their health and wellness into habits. So when you go into kind of a zone of following a stricter diet plans, or a high frequency exercise routines or something like that, it won't be sustainable as per your lifestyle. I mean, think of, okay, what you can do on a daily basis, right? So even if it is like a 10-minute exercise routine you can do, it is okay. So the beauty about health and fitness is that, every small action that you do, every micro habits that you do in a day compounds. So the habits is the way to go. So that is how people can, keep it more sustainable. Sustainability comes through consistency. So consistency comes from the things that you can do on a daily basis without any sort of challenges or limitations. So make it as part of your lifestyle. When you make it as part of your lifestyle, then it becomes much easier for you.
Very true. Actually, I love that simple perspective. Like something you can't do for a year, don't even pick it up in the first place. So I want to ask you this question on the personal note also. Can you share a personal example, maybe from your own corporate days, when over optimization or trying to do everything perfectly actually hurt your wellness or even the clarity? Any personal examples would you like to share?
Yeah, 100%. So, this takes me back almost 13-14 years back while I was in the US, right? So I was working for a leading bank there, and it was a very high pressure job, right? So I was handling one of their tier 1 applications. So even like a 2-minute downtime is like a severe dollar impact for the company, right? So So I was working around the clock at that time, right?
Okay.
And it's a US lifestyle, it's exciting lifestyle,
Mm.
party weekends, right? At some point it hit me hard. So I was feeling a little depressed. I mean, I was missing something. I could clearly sense that. And it kind of pushed me to take up bad habits in life, right? I used to smoke at that time. And that is how, a bad lifestyle can affect you from mindset point of view. So
Mm.
I could clearly see that affected my professional life as well.
Okay.
It is, you give your best in professional life, but then you affect your sleep. You don't handle your stress levels really well. You don't exercise, right? And then what happened to me was it came back and affected my performance in the job, right? So my decision making became poor. There was no clarity in my thought process. There was no clarity in my, the career ladder that I want to grow. That was actually my transition point to, step into the world of health and fitness. Glad it happened to me.
Mm. Mm.
I'm sitting as a coach and a founder of a health company before you, right?
That's lovely, and thank you for such an honest answer. So I think that's what people wants to hear. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent with smaller
Yeah.
things that actually matters, I would say. Let's shift into something that might surprise people. You have always said that wellness is actually a leadership skill. What do you mean by
Right.
that? Why wellness is a leadership skill?
See, I mean, if you look at a good quality of a leader in any organization,
Mm.
so what is more important? I mean, they need to lead their team really well, right?
Mm.
They need to instill that good culture and mindset in the company or within their team to kind of believe the process and then take care of themselves for the company, right? And then help set up a system.
Mm.
If you talk about leaders, the leaders always talk about, okay, I need to set up some good system and process, right?
Right.
So, for example, MS Dhoni, right? I'm a huge fan of MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni always keep repeating about setting up systems and process.
True.
So, same thing is needed for your health and wellness, right? So, see, if you're not able to manage yourself, your time, lead your schedule, how we are going to lead a company.
Mm.
So it is about like when you say that, okay, I don't have time to take care of my health, it
Mm.
shows that you are not managing yourself really well. And that kind of affects, like I said, right, it over a long term, it without them realizing about it, it affects their mental health as well, right? And it will show up in their decision making and decision clarity in kind of what they do on a daily basis, right? It can show up easily. People will know that, and as they keep doing that over and over and over and over, right, without taking care of their health and wellness,
Mm.
it will have an impact in their decision making process, right? So when they're able to set up a good system and process to manage thousands and thousands of a team,
Mm.
then they can very well set up a systems and process to manage their schedule, right, and to manage their own health, right? Again, like I said, it doesn't have to be 1 hour of exercises in a week, or you're eating clean every foods.
Mm.
Start building some small habits, micro habits for your exercises and your nutrition and other areas of your health and lifestyle.
Mm.
And when that happens, I have seen how it can change their cognitive health. So there are proven studies which have clearly stated that doing exercises or maintaining a good health and fitness levels improves your cognitive thinking. So which I feel is an important trait needed for any leader, right?
Mm.
So to make, because leader has to make quick decisions. So there should be a clarity in his thinking. So which means like the cognitive health plays a huge role. Hope it makes sense, but yeah.
Definitely. Let me ask you a scenario which is very common these days. You have been in meetings, let's assume it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and you have been in meetings since morning 9 a.m. You have 20
Right.
browsers tabs open in the brain and as well as the screen. Someone asks you to make a very big decision or something important for the day, and everything feels
Right.
foggy even if you had a very good sleep the night before. What is actually happening inside the mind at that moment?
A great question. So, see, it is about how much the parts of your brain that can handle, the decisions, right? So there are different structures in your brain which is responsible for things like, decision making, what we call as like PFC, right? Prefrontal cortex.
Hmm.
So that is very important for you to make decisions, long-term decisions, clarity, some focus and everything. So when you're constantly working throughout the day, with meetings going back to back, so there's other part of the brain that takes over because there is this fatigue that kicks in your brain.
Okay.
So the PFC, like I said, PFC loses its control, and the part of the brain which is responsible for instant gratification takes over the driver's seat.
Okay.
And then everything goes for a toss. Eating habits goes for a toss. People are not able to focus on what they are doing, right? So all they need to do is take some breaks, right? They need to take some breaks, even 5 to 10 minutes of breaks for every 90 minutes helps them to freeze up that mental space. And you can do things that you want to do you can go for a walk around your block, right? Or you can do some breath work, some deep breathing work at that time, or just listen to your favorite music. So just give some break, to your brain and do something that that you enjoy doing without falling into instant gratification.
Right.
So then what happens is that your PFC goes back to the driver's seat again.
Got it. So Vic, I want to ask, is mental clarity something we can actually train, or is it just by luck and genetics?
No, we can absolutely train your mental clarity. So it is not like some secret sauce or something like that. Just regular day-to-day lifestyle changes, right? Exercises play a huge role there.
Okay.
So daily exercises, has a direct connection to your mental health. So there is a protein called BDNF that gets secreted in your brain. So that is responsible for creating neurological connections in your brain.
Right.
So exercises help a great deal, to improve your cognitive thinking, and that gives you, good mental clarity, right? And sleep plays a huge role to manage your stress levels. Because when your body is chronically stressed, that again affects your thinking, the clarity in your process and everything, right? So doing a little bit of breath work, what we call as box breathing. So it takes like about 2 to 5 minutes in a day. Do some breath work. That will help you to, kind of calm down your nervous system. And, when your particular part of your nervous system is calmer, then it helps with your mental clarity. People eat way too fast, right? Way too fast, not focusing on, not enjoying what they're eating, right? And that affects, so gut health has a direct impact in your brain health.
Okay.
And that, kind of, people feel foggy, right? People feel foggy, they're not able to focus and everything, right? So again, that it's going back to the basics there, Vicky, right? So exercises, sleep, and when I say that, it doesn't have to be, people don't have to be 100% on all the areas every time. So there will be weeks where you will not be able to give your best with your exercises. That's okay, right? You focus on your nutrition for that particular week. You focus on your sleep for that particular. You focus on your hydration for the week.
I think what stops people is they think they need a whole meditational retreat when really just 5
Exactly.
intentional minutes in the morning. That is sad.
Right. So I tell people like 5 basic things that they can do first thing in the first half in the morning. So number 1 is, drinking water, right? Hydrate yourself well in the morning.
Okay.
As you wake up, have a couple glasses of water in your empty stomach. Okay. And again, people go for fancy stuff, should I drink that? Should I drink infused water or something? And it's just plain water, right? Just plain water, 2 glasses of water as you wake up, and do 2 minutes of some breath work, right? Like the box breathing, right? And then get some sunlight. It could be, you don't have to go for a bigger walk or something. Just go to your balcony, right? Just go to your balcony, get some sunlight, and have your coffee, read your newspaper.
Okay.
So get some 10 minutes of sunlight there. And caffeine in the morning helps you to improve your focus, right? So having coffee plus sunlight is a big bonus.
Okay.
And then number 4 is have a protein-rich breakfast. have a couple of eggs, throw in a couple of eggs, or throw in some paneer if you're a vegetarian, or throw in some yogurt. So when you front load your breakfast with good amount of proteins, it helps you to stay full for next 2 to 3 hours. And what that does is, like, see, when you are full and well fed, it helps you to make better decisions at work. And it doesn't take a lot of your time, just 5 to 10 minutes of your time in the morning. Prepare a quick breakfast, okay? And here is a hack that I do that helps me every day, right? I repeat my breakfast every day.
Okay.
Every day, same breakfast. Because that helps, to come out of the decision fatigue of, okay, what should I eat? What should I eat? What should I eat? And suddenly people see the time, okay, it's time for my meeting. Let me go for the meeting. So, so that is number 4. And then number 5 is, if you're able to do some exercises in the morning, first half, then that does a great deal to your mental and brain health as well. So these are the hacks.
Good. 5 simple steps. Keep it consistently.
And the key here is people have to take it very small, embarrassingly small, right? When I say exercise, don't think of, okay, like if you're a beginner, don't think of working out for an hour. Just work out for 5 minutes to begin with. That's it, right? So it should be embarrassingly small.
All right. So now let's talk about something we are all drowning in, I would say. The screens. Our screens, if our phones could show a mental battery instead of just the phone battery, what do you think most of us would see by 6 p.m.?
I'm just wondering, like, how did we survive, during those days, right, without cell phone? But that is how the society has changed, right? The technology has changed. So people, so there are a few things that we can still do. Having said that, there is no excuse that we can give to ourselves. Again, it goes back to training your brain. Like how I mentioned about the prefrontal cortex, right? So prefrontal cortex is something responsible for long-term decision making. Don't fall into the instant gratification, right? So when we scroll the cell phone, PFC is kind of deactivated. So it goes to the part of the brain which kicks in the instant gratification. So that is why, when people scroll like shorts or reels or something like that, they won't stop, right? You see already, they keep on going for like 10-15 minutes and suddenly they'll realize, man, what the hell did I do? So that happens to everyone. I have done it many times. So it is how it pulls you. It pulls you, that part of your brain, into that process, right? So when you naturally train your brain to use your PFC a lot, like when you do exercising every day, when you eat well, so there is very less chances that you will fall into that instant gratification. And we typically say, okay, have a digital detox, right? When I say digital detox for the day, give yourself some time. Let's say it could be 8 p.m. or it could be 9 p.m. So, commit to yourself that, okay, that is my cutoff time. So digital cutoff time. And I'm not going to look into, the cell phone after that time. So it is like you are creating a contract to yourself. So don't break that contract. So you have to be mature enough to kind of, okay, like this is something I'm committing to myself and let me work on that. It's not going to be easy, but it is, with practice, it comes. So create a routine, create a contract and stick to it. And over a period, you will find a nice outcome out of it.
I completely understand, Vivek, but staying healthy, trying to have this digital wellness in this hyper-connected world where our work emails, apart from the social media, so the work emails, the LinkedIn, the WhatsApp group we didn't even ask to be part of. How do you think we can, what do you think digital wellness actually look like? Boundaries, it seems to be very complex thing in today's hyper-connected world.
Turn off notifications in your phone, and blue light filters. There are even blue light glasses that are coming up these days, right? People can wear those blue light glasses, right? So these are all some of the ways that I see that people can handle it. But the larger picture, when you see the larger picture, I think it has to be addressed both by the employee and by the organization.
Thank you so much for the practical digital hygiene habits which you mentioned. But the concern is the self-discipline is a huge concern in today's world.
Yes, it is definitely it's a looming concern, Deviki. Like I said, it has to be addressed by the individual, and HRs in the organization should probably take a note of it, right? So we have seen, in the last couple of years, the number of suicidal deaths that have been happening in the, especially in the IT industry, right? So that tells you the answer, right? I mean, like, it's the frequency of those things that we are seeing is increasing.
Right.
So
right.
that is a serious impact that is causing, to employees' health, mental health, and mental wellness, right? So it is a serious topic. I mean, so that's why I kind of bringing in it's organization's responsibility as well to kind of instill this habit in people's or in employees' lifestyle.
So this is for the leaders who can actually promote the digital balance culturally apart from the individual. Because one person setting boundaries doesn't help if their boss is still sending mails at midnight. So thank you so much, Vivek. I think the people would love that perspective, love that change. So let's do a quick rapid fire round to wrap this up.
Sure.
Very quick answers. Probably I can give you 10 seconds. Okay, I'll stick to, we'll have some 6 to 7 questions. One wellness habit to build starting today.
Water, hydration.
Great. And one habit to break or rethink.
Caffeines, like extra caffeines in the day.
Extra caffeine.
Caffeine boost.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay.
People drink too much of coffee, right? So coffee and tea. So cut down some extra coffee and tea.
Okay. One food you will never give up, no matter what your diet plan says.
Rasam.
Okay, interesting. Right. So as a fitness enthusiast, would you prefer steps, strength training, or sleep? If people fixed only one, what would you pick?
I would pick sleep.
Sleep. Good.
Yes.
Okay, now I have a very interesting question. Biggest fitness myth you wish Gen Z would stop believing?
That sugar is poison.
Oh wow, thank you so much for saying that. It feels like such a relief.
That is one of the the biggest scams, right? I mean, I would say, if you have to put that word. Yeah, I mean, sugar is not very nutritious, but the amount of bad rap that has got, it doesn't deserve that, right? It is okay to have a little bit of sugars in a day.
I do wonder, because I've been eating sugar since childhood. I was not this terrified, but recently sugar has been ported as complete villain. Okay. One thing you wish every IT employee did at their desk daily.
Breath work, like 5 minutes of meditation or breath work.
Okay.
And one myth about health or productivity that you wish would just disappear.
Fasting, I mean, starve yourself to lose weight, or fasting for countless number of days, right?
Fasting for losing weight.
Correct.
Okay, so WhatsApp, LinkedIn, or Insta, where do you doom scroll the most?
Doom scrolling is Insta.
Okay, here is the last question for you.
Yeah.
One line you want your clients to say about you from 10 years from now on.
That, Vivek helped me to build better relationship with myself.
Lovely. Perfect, Vivek. So where can people learn more about your work or connect with you and Qubit Fit?
They can, I'm active on LinkedIn, and I'm active on Instagram as well.
Okay.
So they can connect me on both the platforms, and my qubit.fit is my website. So if they would like to have a call with me, they can book a call, through my website as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today and for keeping it so real, most importantly, because this conversation was something what I needed to hear. Like having sugar is not a taboo. You can have caffeine in the morning. And I know our listeners are also going to feel the same.
Absolutely.
So any final words to the audience?
No, I mean, thank you for having me here. I think, the idea is to bring the, real transparent conversation, right? So, my final word is treat health protect your health like how you would protect your family, right? So, would you give up your family in any case, right? The answer is no, right? So, it's same for your health. Protect your health like you protect your family.
Lovely.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of the Empower Journal. If this conversation hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe that friend who keeps saying, I'll rest when I'm done, but it somehow never actually does. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the show on Spotify and Amazon Prime and hit like and rate the podcast. It really helps these stories reach more people who need them. And of course, Vivek Thiruvengadam on qubitfit.in. Remember, health isn't something you fix later. It's something you build now in small, sustainable and real ways. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay well, stay clear, take care of your mind as much you take care of your to-do list. Nandri.